Hey everyone, and welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to unravel a seriously profound mystery, and it's one that literally affects every single one of us. We're looking at the hidden architecture of our emotional triggers, exploring the cutting-edge science and the ancient history behind our most intense emotional overreactions. So if you've ever wondered why a tiny, seemingly harmless comment can suddenly make you feel like your whole world is crashing down, well, you are in exactly the right place.
So I want you to imagine this. You're just having a totally normal day. Someone says one single sentence to you. It's completely ordinary. Maybe it's even meant to be harmless. But then, bam, suddenly your entire physical state just flips. Your heart starts pounding out of your chest, your throat tightens up, you're hit with this massive wave of anger or embarrassment or maybe just really deep, profound hurt. And honestly, the craziest part of the whole shebang, the other person is completely oblivious. They have no idea a massive emotional explosion just went off inside of you over something so seemingly tiny. And in that exact moment, we usually ask ourselves this really heavy question. Was I just overreacting? Did I just prove that I'm weak or maybe way too sensitive? Well, actually, no, absolutely not. The real mystery here is that your brain wasn't actually reacting to the present moment at all. It was reacting to the past. Okay, let's dive into this. Every single emotional trigger you experience is essentially an invisible shortcut. It instantly hotwires whatever is happening to you today right back to yesterday's unhealed experiences. And the wild thing is, most of the time, you don't even realize it's happening. Your conscious mind is hanging out in the present, sure, but your emotional brain, it's frantically digging through old files, tightly connecting today's event with yesterday's pain. Now, to truly wrap our heads around why your brain does this, we actually need to take a trip about 50,000 years into the past. Picture yourself living as an ancient human. Back then, every single dangerous experience mattered immensely. I mean, if a certain river had crocodiles in it, remembering that exact spot wasn't just a helpful tip, it was literally the only way to not get eaten. If a specific rustling sound meant a predator was lurking, forgetting that sound was a death sentence. So the human brain evolved to remember these intensely dangerous, highly emotional experiences way, way better than just ordinary, everyday stuff. All of those really intense memories, the fear, the physical pain, the humiliation, the devastating losses, they essentially became our ultimate survival tools. Your brain learned one incredibly simple but flawlessly effective evolutionary rule. If something hurt before, avoid it next time. That right there is the golden rule that kept our ancestors alive long enough to actually pass their genes down to us. And here's the kicker. That exact same ancient system is what's still protecting you today. But obviously, our dangers have completely changed. I mean, we're not constantly dodging wild animals or fighting for our physical survival on a daily basis anymore, right? So instead of saber-toothed tigers, your brain now vigorously protects you against invisible emotional dangers. It literally remembers emotional pain with the exact same intensity it used to reserve for physical threats. Let's put this into perspective. Think back to your childhood for a second. Maybe a teacher embarrassed you in front of the whole class, or maybe you were ignored when you really needed comfort. Your brain completely locked down those highly charged moments, and it didn't do it to torture you. It did it to protect you from ever having to feel that specific pain again. Fast forward to adulthood. Maybe your boss criticizes your work, or a friend forgets to text you back. Instantly, your brain fires up that old, deeply buried connection. Your emotional brain links today's event straight back to that childhood memory, and boom, you have an immediate, intense reaction. In that triggering moment, your brain is absolutely frantic. But here's the thing. It is not analyzing your current reality. It's not sitting there asking, hey, what's logically happening right now? No way. Instead, it's quickly scrubbing through its historical database, asking one absolutely critical question. Have we survived something like this before? It is literally scanning your entire life history for survival matches. The actual biological hardware that's responsible for this is buried deep inside your brain. It's a tiny little structure called the amygdala. You can think of the amygdala as your own personal, internal, emotional security guard. Its job is incredibly simple: detect threats and do it fast. It does not wait around for perfect information, and it definitely doesn't pause to logically analyze every little detail. It acts first and it asks questions later. Now, thousands of years ago, that kind of lightning-fast speed is exactly what kept humans alive. If you waited too long to figure out if a shadow was a predator or just a rock, you were dead. But today, the amygdala constantly misinterprets modern social situations. A harsh comment, a disappointed look, being ignored, feeling excluded from a group.
When these things happen, the amygdala totally slams the panic button, and your body responds as if your physical survival is at immediate risk, even though logically speaking, you're sitting safely in a chair. Have you ever noticed that the exact same situation can cause absolute, total panic in one person, but just completely bounce off someone else? One person laughs off a bit of criticism, while another is absolutely devastated by it? Well, that's because triggers are uniquely personal. Your brain creates its own emotional shortcuts based strictly on your unique life experiences. Every heartbreak you've had, every success, every childhood event, they all build a completely different emotional map for every single one of us. And this brilliantly illustrates why our brains will always err on the side of caution. Just imagine hearing a rustling movement in the bushes 50,000 years ago. If it was just the wind and you sprinted away in terror, what did you lose? You just wasted a little bit of energy. But if it was a hidden lion and you just ignored it, well, that cost you your life. Which brings us to this profound, undeniable reality. Evolution rewarded false alarms, not missed dangers. Your brain would much rather overreact 1,000 times than underreact even once. This ancient, incredibly successful survival strategy is running inside you right now. Your brain often reacts so explosively to minor things simply because it is desperately trying to keep you safe, even if the danger it's sensing only exists in a memory. So what happens when we take that ancient, hypervigilant brain and drop it into the modern, hyperconnected world? We get constant, nonstop activation, social media interactions, unanswered text messages, intense workplace pressure, the endless cycle of online comparison. Literally none of these things existed during human evolution, yet they are constantly poking and prodding at those deeply embedded ancient emotional systems. Take a simple example. Today, you might get left on seen in a chat app, and it stings, right? It feels incredibly intense. That's because your ancient brain is interpreting this modern digital rejection as a severe social threat. You see, throughout human history, social rejection didn't just mean you had a bruised ego. It literally meant fatal isolation from your tribe. To be cast out was a death sentence out in the wild. That is exactly why digital interactions can trigger such surprisingly intense life or death emotions today. But hey, here is the incredibly encouraging part. You do not have to be a victim of this evolutionary hardware. These triggers do not have to run your life. And the very first step to ensuring they don't, it's exactly what we're doing right now together: building awareness. When you feel that intense emotional reaction flaring up, try using this really practical framework. First, just pause. Take a breath and give your logical brain a split second to catch up with your lightning-fast amygdala. Second, stop asking yourself, why did they do that? Instead, shift your focus inward. Ask yourself, why did this affect me so deeply? This instantly shifts your attention away from the current event and redirects it back to your emotional history. So, the crucial point is this: the more you recognize your own personal triggers, the more your logical brain can actually step in and work alongside your emotional brain. Awareness creates space. It reminds you that your big emotions are carrying history. And in that beautiful, quiet space of awareness, you regain your power of choice. You finally get to stop acting on pure autopilot. I really want you to remember this. Your emotional triggers are not signs of weakness. Not at all. They are evidence of a fiercely protective brain that is entirely designed to keep you alive. Every painful memory, every automatic reaction, they were all originally created just to help you survive. Healing doesn't mean we just magically erase those emotions. It means understanding the ancient detective story of exactly why they exist in the first place. Your brain remembers what once kept you alive, but you have the absolute ability to decide what shapes your future. I truly believe the greatest freedom comes from understanding the ancient mind behind every single one of our emotions. So I'm going to leave you with this question to think about. Will you let ancient instincts control your future, or will you use awareness to regain your choice? Thank you so much for exploring the mind with us on this explainer. Keep questioning everything, and we'll see you next time.